Just going over a weekly recap. So now I'm gonna be going over a couple of things. I'll be going over not a couple of things, like two things. My normal model, which is like that 3 minute, 5 minute gap tap, and then displacement out of that gap, and then also a kind of draw read, which I just take a tap back into fair value gaps I expect to hold after displacing above a high or above a low, and to hold to the liquidity point, right? So starting off on Monday, this is um 9:30 opens right here. We sweep out some liquidity. We get strong displacement up, and then we hold this rally gap. We get another strong displacement up. We don't just sweep these highs, we edge these highs right here. Actually made equal highs, right here. So those are equal, and there's also a high right here, right? So this leg that has these two fair value gaps, I would expect to hold, right? Because we got displacement above this high, and we edge this high. So taking it from that gap tap stops down here, and then TP at that high. Um, Next week I believe I will be entering on these type of trades, but basically, what was I saying? I'll be entering maximum half of my normal risk. My normal risk is usually 300. So max risk will be around like 150. So yes, it'll be small wins, but it doesn't matter because like if I'm copy trading right now on 250Ks, if I'm risking 150 on both and they both hit, it's 300, So like a $300 day is, in my opinion, pretty good. So I'm more than happy taking that. And then right here, obviously, you retrace. We got displacement below this low. We retrace to this gap, and then we get displacement out of that. It's beautiful trade. Hold it to this low, 1.6. Um, yeah, no entries right here. I believe I marked out everything that was a good entry, so I'm just gonna go to wherever yeah. So we come into this is a 15-minute gap, right? We get close to these highs right here. We expect these highs to get taken, right? Because if you get displacement out of that 15-minute gap, you know what happens, you know. Um, Problem is right here, we didn't actually inverse this gap. So that is unfortunate. And then the next leg right here sweeps out these highs. We do have this imbalance, but like it's just not. I don't know. I probably wouldn't take that trade. I'm not gonna lie, but this displacement is really good. If it's just like if we close like right here, it would have just been so much better, like an actual entry. Um, right here we sweep out a low, right? We get displacement up, we retrace into whatever gap, and we inverse everything in this leg. We're going to at least this high you go break even, and then you hold it higher. Honestly, you probably would have gotten break even because you can't hold it to there, and if you hold it to this high, you would have gotten break even. So break even. Honestly, like overall, by the way, like this whole week was pretty bad. I'm not gonna lie. Um, so yeah. Let's see. Are there any other entries here? Honestly, this displacement candle is not bad. And also for like these draw reads, right? Like if we didn't sweep out this low, I'm not gonna be taking like a giant stop, like 100-point stop. I'm only gonna take it if it's like reasonable enough where I can get in and out of in and out of the trade in like, hopefully like 15 minutes. Um, 8:30 news, right? This is a really good trade. I don't know why I didn't take this actually. I feel like I definitely should have, but it just like I wanted this placing above this high and then retrace, but this is a great reaction out of this gap. 9:30 opens. Also, yeah, it was actually really close to 9:30 open. So honestly, still a really good trade in my opinion. So we come into this gap, we sweep out these lows, and we inverse this gap with beautiful V shape. Entry right there, target up there. Nice easy 1-to-1. Um, yeah, so if there's an SMT here, that would make it a lot better, but What do we do right here? We inverse everything in this leg, right? If we go into, I know it's gonna fuck up everything, but I don't know if I marked out all the 5-minute gaps, because yeah. Yeah, so right here, right? There's this 5-minute gap, 5-minute gap right here. We inverse it. There's nothing else holding us to go to these lows and probably these lows. So off of that close, like a 5-minute entry, that's a clean trade. See how long it takes me to get back to that one fucking spot. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So hold on. So if I take off this real quick, right? Oh my God, so zoomed in. Okay. So after that 5-minute gap closes, right? We have what? We have this range right here. We wait for a tap back into a fair value gap. We expect this to hold and then take it to these lows. That's an easy trade because there's nothing for us to like balance up here. There's nothing from us stopping us going lower after that 5-minute inverse. So these gaps, this gap and this small gap should hold. Honestly, I expected this gap to get tapped into, but it's not gonna happen that often. Um, and what else? Draw is lower, right? Now, I needed to zoom the fuck out on this because I took this shitty trade, 3-minute gap tap inverse right here. Like, if you look at the whole entire leg, bro, like just wait for at least a 5-minute gap or something. We came into a 15-minute gap and got this fat displacement out of that, which was a good trade, right? And then a nice add-on position right here is we chop around a little bit, we get displacement, we displace below this low, and we don't sweep out this low. This is where I would go break even, right? And if I wanted to take an individual trade, like if I miss that entry right here, um, it wouldn't be an add. This would be the entry, right? You wait for a tap back into this fair value gap, stop at these highs, and take profit at these lows. You go break even as soon as this is swept, and yeah, that's pretty free. Um, let's see. So we sweep out this low, we chop around a little bit, and we look like we're a little bit bullish on the 5-minute, I'm guessing. As long as everything on the higher time frame, there's no gaps for us to react off of, then and like it seems like we're going to these highs. Literally any trade that displaces above a high opens up a fair value gap. That's basically the entry. Opens up this one big 1-minute fair value gap, right? And we displace above this high. We look bullish. We inverse everything to the left of us until this high. That's your entry. And you take that 150 risk for 3RR. That's 450 or whatever. So that's like my normal winning day for my normal trades, but risking half of what I would do and also getting the entry that I need because this my 5-minute gap tap displacement that only happens 2 times out of the week, sometimes 3 if we're lucky. So if I'm taking these as like additional, it gives me I like because I know where price is going. I just don't enter on these because I haven't built the confidence on it yet. But I'll just start entering on them, build the confidence, and then I'll be fine. You know. Um, this little 1-to-1 trade right here is pretty sketchy. Um, just because like if you look, yes, I do expect us. We got to displace me, open up a fat gap, but like it's just too risky because you're so high up into the leg. So we could, edge this, sweep out these lows, and then go up to this high. So really, this would be the only trade that I would take, because why? We didn't really get a reversal. We didn't show any signs of bullishness until this leg, right? Waiting for displacement of a high, displacement of a high, nothing still. This one actually displaces above that high. So that's the only trade I would be confident in there. No entries there, no entries here. Go on to the next day. Yeah, gap hold, whatever. Okay. Mm, okay, so we're obviously bullish, right? We sweep out this high, and if we are gonna be bearish, we should sweep this and then go lower. We don't, we retrace, then we go higher again. And what do we do? We basically, what we do is um we displace above this high. We have a target up here. We create equal highs right here, triple equal highs. And we come back down to retrace. This is definitely going to get swept in this leg, right? And where do we expect us to reject from in this leg? This fair value gap in the last spot, this big order block right here. So how I would play this, right, is either I would get an entry right here, stops down here, and just hold it to after this high until it hits a 1-to-1 because that's like the minimum. Or I can get better RR by waiting for just a deeper retrace, taking the chance that I won't get filled and, getting a 1.5 RR, or I actually could have squeezed out a 2 RR barely to the tick if I took a limit order, but yeah, no, this gap is gonna hold 99% of the time. Um, what else? What else? What else? So right here, yes, we get displacement below this low, displacement kind of below this, but we came into a gap, so obviously I'm not going to take a draw read from right here. We come out, get a good reaction out of that gap. We displace up, right? So we're expecting these highs. We have this high, and this high. All this low resistance liquidity right here. I expect this high to eventually get taken, but market is slower, as you can see. So how I would play this, right? Come to this gap, we get a good rejection out of it. We still have these gaps. You want us to inverse. Um, but this is a beautiful reaction, right? We kind of inverse it, but what we do is we retrace down in here, and if we respect this, we should go higher. We get a nice bullish confirmation out of this big gap, and that's how I would play it. I'd enter there, take it to these highs. And if I wanted to run a longer position, I could take it to that high because that should get hit. Um, yep. Come into a gap, get displacement out of it. You could enter there, but you have to go break even here, so there's no point. I'm sure there's other stuff in here, but Asia, I don't give a fuck about Asia. Thursday, I believe Thursday was the last day of like decent, not decent, but like okay PA. Yeah, so right here, right, we're bearish. As you can see right here in this leg, we're bearish. We get huge displacement down. We expect these gaps. Another displacement down. This is some sexy ass fucking displacement, right? This low, if we're gonna go lower, we're displacing below this low. We're not just gonna sweep it. This big fucking candle displaces right below that. There's nothing stopping us to going to this low. Yes, there is this 1 minute volume imbalance, but I don't give a fuck about that because look at all of the shit that we inverse, right? So this leg right here will take us to this low. Your stop, because we can retrace to this gap, your stop has to be at this high, right? And you take it to this low, 1-to-1. Honestly, I would say that for these type of trades, since I'm going half risk, I would rather get a higher RR play. So for the majority of the time, I think I would probably aim for about a 1.5 R. So my stop has to be here. My take profit is here no matter what. So I wait for a retrace to basically this gap right here. As soon as we get there, um, yeah, you just hold it to the lows. What else? Also, there was a 5 minute gap here, I guess, and we get this reaction, which inverses this gap, displaces below these lows. That itself in itself is an entry right there. That's a 1.5 RR. And so basically, if I took this, hold on, let me play the replay real quick. So we displace below this low, right? We expect these to hold, right? So all you do is wait for a tap back. My entry was right here, right? So wait for us to tap there. Okay, that is my entry point. So hold on. I'm gonna just want to make sure I'm sizing correctly because I want to be able to Size good, right? So entry's right there, stops are here, TP's down there. If I were to enter, oh no, I can't even fucking do, okay, whatever. Let's say I enter 5 micros right here. So I lied. That's probably way too much. 3 micros are probably a 150 risk right here. Stop loss up here. TP down here. Actually, no, I can actually see how much I'm risking. Okay, so it is a 5 micro. So 5 micros, I'm risking 137 to make 285. That is a good enough risk to reward for me. I don't actually need to add onto my position, but let's just see how I would play it, right? Waiting for some sort of confirmation, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Yep, we're chopping around. I expect these gaps to hold. We tap to the highest one. This displacement should start the movement lower. That's a little sketchy, I'm not gonna lie. And then this one right here. This is where I would, this is tough. This displacement is where I would probably move my stop to right here. And if I wanted to add another contract, I could add right there. So I have $20 less risk and also literally only $30 more. I'm not gonna. That's kind of ass. I'm not gonna lie. In this spot, it's probably not a good idea to add. I'm not gonna lie, because that's retarded. We sweep out this low. That might scare me a little bit. Probably go break even there, and then yeah, we flush to those lows. So that's how I would play it there. Um, yeah, the add-on was kind of ass. I'm not gonna lie. Probably wouldn't do that actually. Um, but yeah, where was I? I was on Thursday, right? Was it this? Yo, gang. Oh, it was right here. Yeah. That was pre-market anyways, but that was a good pre-market short. So going into the actual morning session, so this morning session was ass. I'm not gonna lie. There's nothing to take here, right? Later in after 11, maybe it cleaned up a little bit. So you get an SMT right here, you get displacement down. You expect these lows to probably get hit, right? When we displace below this low like this, these two gaps are gonna hold. You enter off the tap right here and hold it down to there, 1.88 RR. That's a really good draw read right there. And super easy too. What else? What else? What else? Tap into another gap right here. Displacement to the range. We do actually inverse this gap, which is good. We retrace into this gap and we want displacement out of it. This V shape right here, that is what you enter on because that is what you look for, and take it to the low, about 1.5. We displace below this low heavily, right? And so our next target is this low. Because like from that fat displacement, bro, like there's no way you don't go to this low at least, right? Look how far we did that. And yeah, what did I say? I said 1.5 risk reward. So in this scenario, 1.5 risk reward would be there, would not get filled. That's fine with me. And yeah, no entries there, no entries to here. And going on to the next day, I guess. All right, let's look at Asia, I guess. So coming out of this gap, get displacement out of it. Nice buy model. This high is guaranteed, basically, as long as no freaky shit happen. We displace above this high, these highs, all that. There's nothing else stopping us going to this high. We have this imbalance, right? You want to take it to here, and 1.5 risk reward. Okay. You get tagged in right there, and you get fucking. I'm not gonna lie, in this scenario, I would have my stops right here. This isn't even Asia, this is London. So this would wick me out probably. Um, but that is fine. That is 1L, and my idea is still right. This still plays. It's just my stop had have been like at this low instead. So that's fine. Um, hmm. What are we on Friday now? Yeah, Friday. Okay. So Friday we came into a 15-minute gap right here, and we're taking it to these lows. We displaced below that this 1 minute for value gap. This isn't something I took, but this is something you can take. Stop has to be at the high of that for value gap um candle and take it to these lows. It's a okay trade. It's just you're trading in chop, so that's why I just didn't enter on that. Um, what else? What else? What else? What else? Come to this gap, get displacement out of that. Break even right here, you get break even. Okay. Uh, yeah, and there's no other entries. But literally just going over this today, I figured out that the best way to take these draw read trades. Honestly, I don't even think I need to start an eval because I basically paper trade these like every day. And I used to enter on them, just not with the gap tap. So now I know what I need for this. What I need is obviously clear DOL, high time frame, no gaps to react from, or go break even at the gaps when you go there. And just displacement below low and target, 1.5 RR. That'll make me 225 on both counts, which would be, oh my God, math, 450. So 450 day, like, bro, like if I really think about it, like I go to work and I make like, I don't know, like 60 bucks, 60 to $100 a day. If I take that, I'm making 450 in a day. Doesn't matter if I'm risking 150, bro, which is like nothing, you know? Like it's still a fucking good ass like that's more than four times of what I would make in a day just off of that trade. So I don't care if I'm risking light, but I think that that will definitely get me the amount of RR I need for a good month because what I've noticed is that the RR that I'm aiming for, I'm just not gonna get with this. Yes, there is some, mistakes that I do make, but with these draw reads, I see very clearly and um, and usually what I'm doing is when I see those draw reads, I'm just waiting for a 5 minute gap and then a displacement that I can actually enter on. But I can literally just enter on if we retrace to the fair value gap, which is it's a lot more likely that you will get filled like that than with displacement or whatever. So yeah, going into the next week, trading on the fundeds, both of those ways, targeting 1.5 RR for draw reads minimum and 1 to 1 RR minimum for the displacement or whatever. Because yeah. Um we'll see how this next week goes, but still break even on the accounts. Um I am debating on buying an eval actually, just so I can get because if I can pass that eval and I already have the 250K fundeds, what I would do is instead of taking the payout from the 250K fundeds and then getting three fresh new evals, I'm just gonna build a buffer on all three so I can have those three accounts. So yes, it will delay my first payout, but what my first payout was gonna be is 3,600 and I don't have to pass more or spend money on more evals. I can keep those accounts and just keep getting $3,600 payouts, right? And that will speed up the process. No, I'm not trying to rush it, but that will 100% speed up the process. And what else? Yeah, speed up the process. And let's say I get a payout every 2 weeks, like if I'm doing good at this draw read and displacement gap shit, you know, um, then I would be making what is it? Well, 7,200 a month, which would be like 80, 86, 87 grand a year if I consistently do that. Which obviously I'm not going to wait that long. But after two or three payouts on those accounts, which would literally be probably 2 months, then I can move the top step, buy the three 100Ks, And then when I buy those three 100Ks, get payouts of those you don't have any consistency rules. So as soon as I build a buffer, I can risk heavy on that. And um and then I get max allocation on Top Step, 150K funded accounts. And that's when that real fucking money starts to come in, like I'm talking like 30K, 40K, 50K months. So it's so crazy because like these first steps, like they don't seem like a lot of money, like 3,600. Yeah, it's a decent amount of money. Fun fact, I don't think I've ever had 3,600 money to myself, like in my bank account. And I can literally have that after 2 weeks of trading or literally just 5 winning days of trading, which is insane. So as long as I don't take any stupid shit, as long as I'm confident on what I'm taking, I don't see a problem with taking this shit. And, you know, I'm a fucking get this fucking money. Let's do it.